Good morning, and thank you for joining our Microsoft 365 Sales Fundamentals today. My name is Nicola Miller, and I am joined by my colleague Michael Markey. We are both Ingram Micro Business Development Managers, and we are on the SureStep team from Microsoft. And if you would like to connect with us, please use the QR code, and this will take us to our LinkedIn. So the objective of today is to take you through the Microsoft Sales Fundamentals and how you can proposition them to customers, and for you to understand each layer and also what tools are available for you to use. Really, it's about the sales session. It's about making sure you understand Microsoft 365 Business Premium and what it's all about, and where the benefits come from for what you get for your licensing and what the customer gets for their licensing. And also what you can offer them in terms of value add and where the partner, as yourself, can get more revenue and value. And to highlight the tools that are given to you, you may not realise that you can actually utilise as a value add as part of your sales process. And if you're not currently offering them, I really want to make sure that you get to see some of the areas that you may not be thinking as a business practice, but you really should. So our objective today is to make sure that you know the tools which are available to you, understand some of the common objectives, seeing that you might get from customers, and then really we'll look at how you can build a business practice around security, compliance, telephony, and all those other features. There's also stuff that we'll go through, and obviously we have the links, which I said about earlier, which are in the resource bar. However, if there is anything you do need or want, then please do not hesitate to contact us. So this morning we will go through the first 4 modules. So this will be the overview, the introduction to Microsoft 365 Business Premium, the Partner Transform platform, and the Building a Security Service platform. And in the afternoon, we've got the secondary or the second set of 4 modules, which is building a team and voice practice, the all-important licensing, and then we have some good objection handling and selling values for Microsoft 365. And then we've got some scenarios of making it real. If you do have any questions, then please, we will have live questioning at the end. This is a pre-recorded webinar. However, as I say, we will be doing the live questions at the end. So, as I have alluded to probably twice now already, so the resources, so this is in the resources bar. If you would like a copy of the slides, then please do not hesitate to ask. We can send them to you. That's not an issue. So, for example, probably one of the good ones on here is the tech community. It is a site that is dedicated to SMB questions. So when you're talking about an event that you may have or you've been to or something along those lines, and you're really kind of looking for more way to discover things, and you've got a question to Microsoft around that, and you want to transition a customer that's got this and they want to go to that, those kind of questions, what you can do, you can ask some specific questions, any queries that you have. So as I say, go to the tech community, add your questions on there, and people will come back and they will advise on their opinions and what you can do. So it might be, for example, I need this, etc., and you can do this out of a box from Microsoft, and they might have tools that can help me with, or I need to bring a third party. Those kind of questions, so you can ask the tech community. It's free, and you have access to that. The Spartan policy is that part of your Microsoft relationship, and there's also a lot of different sites that we can go through and give you different experiences. So really there is so much content really which you can download, and this can be anything from sales pitch materials, telescripts, marketing, all that kind of stuff, case studies. And we'll show you some of those today as well. So just familiarise yourself, and obviously don't underestimate how much content is really out there. The Partner Center from Microsoft has got so much content.
Thank you for the introduction, Nicola. So let's kick off with Module 1 and the introduction to Microsoft 365 Business Premium Sales Fundamentals. If we think about the world of working today, many of us are now probably watching this webinar whilst we're remote working. Some of us are probably even using our own devices while still accessing work data. The real questions to start asking are we really secure whilst doing it? Are we kind of maintaining the collaboration previously? I believe if we are set up in the correct way, absolutely. If we think about the average workplace today, it's not just about the need to be sat at a desk, connecting to files, sharing and opening files and then saving them again. I might want to have an intranet as well that gives me some information, because the amount of things that we can now do as a society in general, and technology is giving us the ability to work from anywhere, using lots of different devices and having technology built that can help anywhere from an app. And give me from the likes of kitchen recipes to be able to download, even down to architectural designs on how to build stuff, and all the rest of it encompasses this idea. Now, me as a business, being able to push what I'm working on through sharing with other people, both internally and externally, and wanting to make sure that that data is secure as well. So the way we work has changed, and obviously very much so in the last 12 months. But the software and services that we used to have years ago are not designed to work with the modern way of working in the devices. And the security side, if we did want to implement some of the services that were developed over the recent years, we need to have a lot of tech experts within our business to set this up. What Microsoft is doing with their cloud and their Microsoft 365 Business Suite is to make that easy for yourselves as partners. Build solutions for your customers, especially in the SMB space, where customers react rapidly and change quickly and will want little solutions, maybe fixing, adapting, creating, managing really quickly. And the SMB space actually will benefit greatly by moving to this 365 Business Premium Suite, because it lights up the capability to not just have the collaboration tools for the users to allow them to work better, but also allows yourselves as the partners to set up a good security model for them also. So good security practices, and also on the back of that, have a long-term service relationship where you can build on top of the basics and keep adding and adding. And that's where the real value in today's world comes from in terms of the SMB space. Being able to create the solutions to put in front of your end user to solve the problems of real world life scenarios. So remote working at the drop of a hat based on the current climate, continuing to maintain that good security posture, and also reduction in costs as well in some cases. To make this more challenging, all of this is happening against the backdrop of increased cyber threats and phishing attacks during the stages of COVID-19, many of whom are targeting small and medium businesses. However, to bring to life all of the capabilities of Microsoft 365, and over the last few years, Microsoft is really adapting in security capabilities far beyond what it used to have with on-prem and even cloud-based security capabilities within Office 365. And I've really been proven in the last 6 months where all of these malicious attacks targeting the COVID outbreak, where they are literally using tactics like phishing emails. I've received many emails from TV licensing, PayPal, or even NHS track and trace, prompting you to click the link in the email to sign in, etc. These are literally companies being targeted with hacking emails and content, trying to get people to put in their information so that they can basically start attacking their businesses. And having a provider that is able to support and detect a lot of this stuff before it reaches the businesses is a really important aspect of security today. And these security attacks have real economic consequences for the small business. Something really common that I hear sometimes is, I'm too small for a business for hackers to attack me. Only large enterprises need to worry about security. Or why would my data be important for hackers? Well, as long as your data is important to you, That's all what matters to hackers. Let me tell you this story. Small business hired a new CFO and she posted about her job on LinkedIn. And within a week, spearfished from an email pretending to be a CEO, asking her to transfer £30,000 to an account. Now, since the CEO is travelling, she assumed that this email was legitimate and wired that money. There are too many stories, and if we look at the aggregate industry data, it validates these stories and shows that SMBs are very vulnerable. 50% of small businesses experienced an attack in the last year. But what's worse is that while small and medium businesses face the same threats as enterprises, they don't quite have the same protection, which sometimes has catastrophic outcomes. For example, 61% of small businesses that experienced a cyber attack were not able to operate, and the average cost of a company that gets attacked by a cyber attack or ransomware or stolen data can be anything from up to £50,000 to £200,000 a year after a data breach. Therefore, it's an integral for small businesses to invest in security to protect their business. So when we talk to you about Microsoft 365 Business Premium, we're basically talking about combining the best of breed of all of the Microsoft suite to give you the ability to do control, collaboration, and security. Brings together your favorite productivity tools from Word, Excel, Outlook, Microsoft Teams, along with advanced remote access, security, and device management capabilities. Basically, one solution that has all you need to run and grow your business while having peace of mind that your business information is protected. So we have the ability to control, but allow people to work from anywhere using any device they like. But then we need to make sure that we secure that. So we get the security, the data protection in place to make sure that there are policies built to protect that side of it. Now, Microsoft is never going to build all of the policies that the customer needs, because they don't necessarily know what that customer is trying to do. The responsibility of the partner, and one could argue. Therefore, the opportunities of the partner will be to go into that set of tools that is available within the suite purchased by the end user and set up those secure foundations and building blocks to eventually create a secure working environment that meets the needs for that individual end user.
So when we talk about collaborating, we are in essence talking about how the landscape has been completely changed with Microsoft Teams. The depth you can collaborate with your customers, colleagues, or even vendors through online meetings, as well as sharing files within organizations internally or externally, is a huge benefit with Teams. And having that threaded chat really does cut down the email traffic. With times changing and a huge need for a new collaboration tool, Microsoft Teams does solve this new next level for communication and collaboration needs for a diverse workforce. You can stay on top of your workday by easily accessing files, chats and apps in one place across desktop, web and mobile. And with the amount of new features coming to Teams alone this year, the informal one-to-one or group chats you have with open conversations in a channel. And this enables you to share information with a transparent way of getting a faster decision making. You can collaborate in real time by co-authoring files and sharing them quickly and easily with people inside and outside your organisation. Plus, with shared documents in the cloud, you have the benefit of version control and data loss prevention. And Teams is built on SharePoint, which is behind the scenes is the document management. And with Microsoft Teams, you stay connected with intelligent meeting solutions support and video conferencing. You can join a range of platforms and devices, and as I said, this includes desktop browser, mobile and meeting room devices. And with the amount of new updates Teams has seen this year, we can have meetings in conferencing facilities where you can now have up to 1,000 people on a conference call. And recently announced at Ignite the ability to have breakout rooms, which you can have 50 breakout rooms per meeting. Teams offers a complete meeting solution supporting sharing videos and audio conferencing that enables you to meet from anywhere. You can use Teams for all types of meetings, and those be spontaneous, scheduled, formal, and they may be internal or external. And this also goes for large one-to-many meetings. All meetings provide contextual experience, so you have the context and content you need right at your fingertips before, during, and after meetings, including conversational history, files, and meeting notes. And no worries if you miss a meeting, team members can access the recording with transcribed and translate text. That also has an index, so you can search for the content that's relevant to them. You can also translate with a simplified click. Teams supports a range of intelligent devices and services which can understand the spoken and even unspoken nuisance of meetings, even when you're not in the room, and carry those insights into our broader team experience and create the opportunity for everyone to collaborate in more immersive ways. Teams allows you to schedule and join meetings with others without technology getting in the way. However, customers that we've been talking to are still not aware that actually meetings is a core capability of Teams, and they're using different points of solution. And you can utilize it anywhere by conducting inside or outside their organization, using, as I said, computer or mobile. An SMB benefit is reducing travel time, the ability to reach greater customer base versus only a local one, and the ease using tools like meeting schedule assistant, screen share, and collaborative note-taking as part of online meetings give people the context and content at their fingertips before, during, and after the meeting. And this also includes conversational history, files, and meeting notes. So it's common to work with or work on teams with contractors or consultants or other types of people outside of the boundaries of your company. And guest access allows other people to fully participate and collaborate right along with you. And this includes scheduling a team meeting with anyone who has a valid business or consumer email address, and making and receiving phone calls from anywhere with a cloud-based phone system in Teams.
We're now going to look at enabling secure remote access and protecting identity. Enabling secure access is really the first step towards enabling remote working. With Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you can protect against lost or stolen passwords by using an additional layer of security called multi-factor authentication. You can also provide the right people with the right access. You work with apps using Azure AD, and then enabling secure remote desktop access with Windows Virtual Desktop. Passwords are the weakest link in a security chain, and without any additional verification, single point of failure. That's why we believe strongly that if you only do one thing to help protect yourself, it should be to turn on multi-factor authentication, or MFA, which can prevent 99.9% of identity attacks. We support a broad range of authentication options to fit the needs of your business and your users. Passwordless methods help make MFA more convenient for users. Passwordless methods also include the Microsoft Authenticator. So for the greatest flexibility, convenience, and cost, we recommend using the Microsoft Authenticator mobile app. Microsoft Authenticator supports biometrics, push notifications, and one-time passcodes for any Azure AD connected app. It's free to download from the Apple and Android app stores also. You've also got Windows Hello. So for a great built-in PC experience, we recommend using Windows Hello. It uses your face or fingerprint to sign in automatically. And FIDO2 security keys are now available from several of our partners like Ubico, Bayesian Technologies, and HID Global in a USB NFC-enabled badge, or biometric key. We already have over 100 million users of passwordless authentication. This number is about to get bigger. At Ignite, Microsoft announced that in Q1 2020, we will have extended passwordless authentication, which is currently in public preview, to include support for hybrid environments. If you're hesitant to turn on MFA, there are ways to minimize disruption and make it a smooth transition for your users. With the right access policies, you can prompt users for MFA only when it's necessary using conditional access that we'll cover next. You can also use self-service portals for quick registration and password reset, saving your help desk thousands or even millions of dollars a year. In a distributed work environment, providing the right people the right access becomes critical. With Azure AD, conditional access, you can control where, when, and who connects to Office apps. For example, you could create a policy that blocks access when someone attempts to log in from a country in which you don't do business. Or you could use conditional access to restrict access if a user is logging in from an unrecognized and potentially compromised device. Plus, you can combine MFA with conditional access policies. For example, you'd require MFA when someone accesses your work data from a location that's not a trusted source, like a country in which you don't do business in again. Additionally, it was recently announced that Microsoft were bringing in the full capabilities of Azure AD C1 to Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and with this, you get the benefit of powerful features like App Proxy that helps employees to remotely access on-prem web apps without the need of opening broad access to company's network. With dynamic groups, you can help reduce the administrative overhead of adding and removing users from security groups. Another example, assigning users to a sales group, for instance. Use dynamic groups to assign users to groups automatically, then use these groups to grant access to applications. Another aspect of enabling remote access is enabling remote desktop access. Windows Virtual Desktop is a comprehensive desktop and app virtualization service running on Azure. It's the only virtual desktop infrastructure, or VDI, that delivers a simplified management, multi-session Windows 10 optimizations for Office, and support for remote desktop services environments, or RDS. With WVD, your employees can access any remote app on any device, while you can maintain central management and security of your users' desktops. Scenarios where deploying WVD might be useful. So if an SMB using remote desktop services today, and then WVD simplifies the licensing and cost less. Also, if you have apps with sensitive information, such as medical or financial information, and you want to make sure that data is securely accessed by users working from home, you can easily enable this scenario by utilizing WVD. WVD creates a virtual desktop for users accessing remotely. Employees can only access that information in that remote virtualized session and won't be able to save any data on their local workstation.
So now we're going to be looking at protecting against cyber threats and data loss. So next we're going to talk about Microsoft 365 Business Premium and how that helps you against cyber threats like phishing and ransomware, and how it safeguards your business and customers' data while helping you gain visibility into cloud app usage so you can uncover hidden risks. With the shift to work from home has come an increase in cyber attacks like phishing. Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, ATP, helps safeguard your user's identity and against cyber threats. With increased cyber threats like phishing attacks and ransomware, we know your customers are concerned. And Microsoft 365 Business Premium protects your customers' business from these external threats by giving you access to the same enterprise-grade services and protection used by many of the world's largest companies. Links are checked in real time and it warns you if the destination is malicious site with an ATP safe link. And when a user clicks on the URL in the email message or in the Office file, the link is checked in ATP safe links, and the identity is blocked, malicious, or safe before opening the website. For example, a user will get a warning if this page is deemed malicious. And the ATP Safe Attachments feature in Microsoft 365 Business Premium scans each and every attachment coming in via email. And when ATP Safe Attachment policy is in place, email attachments are opened and tested in virtual sandbox environments. And if determined to be malicious, the attachment will not open. And this protection also applies to attachments shared via SharePoint Online, OneDrive, or Teams. An AI-powered anti-phishing intelligence helps protect against impersonation and spoofing with ATP anti-phishing. And to combat the latest phishing methods where attackers impersonate a person or a brand, machine learning is used to analyze past email patterns, relationships to find anomalies that indicate spoofing has occurred. And by enforcing Microsoft Defender malware protection across your company's Windows 10 devices, you can help prevent users from interacting with ransom or malicious web locations and protect files in key stream folders from changes made by ransomware. And most businesses deal with a variety of sensitive information like customer credit card numbers or date of birth or even intellectual property that is core to the running of the business. And keeping this information safe can be a daunting task for many businesses, but especially for SMBs. And Microsoft 365 Business Premium helps protect your business data and sensitive customers or employees' information from accidental leakage by utilizing data loss prevention capabilities. And these DLP policies can help identify, monitor, and protect sensitive information through deep content analysis. Even if your staff forget to apply these controls, it includes configuring templates that can be helped detect specific types of sensitive information by being communicated, such as credit card numbers, date of birth, or even local specific personal identification numbers, PII. It also provides policy tips which can help educate and prevent end users from accidental sharing of sensitive information by displaying a policy tips in Outlook. On Microsoft 365 Business Premium, your employees can access encrypted emails and documents or impose controls such as do not print or do not forward. And this helps you and it can help communicate securely with customers or even with people outside your company, ensuring that the only intended recipient can read the message. And we also have Azure Information Protection, which gives us the option to classify and protect important information and apply appropriate controls. You can control whether the document can be edited, printed, or viewed by non-employees. It applies to documents no matter where they go, so this could be a file share or on SharePoint. And you can track and revoke access, for example, if a colleague has left the company. This is a new capability with full Azure AD Premium Plan 1 inclusion. So as we've said before, modern businesses with bring your own device environments and work from home setups, IT departments are often not aware of all the cloud applications that their employees use for work. So we really want to be able to control that and to be able to know what the users have got on their devices and decide whether those apps and content we want to manage and which ones we really don't. And as a result, administrators often have concerns about unauthorized access to corporate data, possible data leakage, and other security risk inherent with the applications. And you can address these by using the Cloud App Discovery service, which is new to Business Premium SKU. And the Cloud App Discovery is a feature of the Microsoft Cloud App Security, the MCAS. That is also available for the Azure Active Directory Premium Plan 1. It enables you to discover cloud applications that are often used by employees in your organization, and it builds reports and assessments to analyze your environment. Cloud Apps Discover analyzes your traffic logs against the catalog of 16,000 cloud apps. And the apps are ranked and scored based on more than 80 risk factors to provide you with ongoing visibility into cloud use, shadow IT, and also shadow IT poses risks to your organization. And with the Cloud App Discovery, you can discover applications in use and measure usage by the number of users, a volume of traffic, or number of web requests on that application. Identify the users that are using the application, export the data for additional offline analysts, and prioritize applications to bring IT under control and integrate applications easier to enable a single sign-on and user management.
Now we're going to look at securing personal and company-owned devices. Now, the current landscape has changed the way employees are working, some from home, some from the office, and some still aren't even allowed into offices. And with the use of both personal and company-owned devices, you want a way to manage and secure these devices and the work data that's on them. With Microsoft Intune, it's easy to manage PCs and mobile devices, so you have peace of mind that your business data is safeguarded. And with Autopilot as an added benefit of being able to automate deployments using Autopilot. So having the ability to open a new laptop without visiting their office, using policies for things like Conditional Access and Intune policies to control the apps and environment. And between those, when the user opens their laptop and they log on to their new device using their Office logon, it becomes very easy to quickly provision and deploy new devices to employees remotely. So there are a couple of ways to approach device management. Mobile Application Management, or MAM, if you like the acronyms. This is typically for personal. This way, the company only has control over the applications used for business purposes. Users can use their personal devices to access organizational resources. And for example, you can apply app protection policies. Data is only saved to OneDrive for business versus a personal storage. Or the alternative, Mobile Device Management, or MDM. So this is typically used for company-owned devices. Users will enroll their devices and use certificates to communicate with Intune. And then the ability to configure mobile device policies, such as enforcing complex PINs or passwords, remote wipe or lock the device, device encryption. Mobile application management is seen as more common in SMB scenarios due to bring your own device or BYOD environments. And you or your partner can manage these policies through the simple setup wizard. With remote and hybrid work, employees are increasingly using personal mobile devices to access work data, and you may be concerned if your work data is secure. With Microsoft 365 Business Premium, Microsoft has multi-layered protection, which allows us to protect the data at the app level without the need for traditional containerization or sandboxing. Because they leverage the user identity in their approach, they can enable multi-identity usage of apps where app policies are intelligent enough to only apply to data applicable to corporate accounts on employee-owned devices. And the capabilities here include app encryption at rest, app access control, which uses the PIN or credentials. You can use save as restrictions, app-level selective wipe, managed web browsing, and even secure viewing of PDFs, images, and videos. Intune management solution that can control this much granular comprising on the end user. With MAM, built an invisible wall between the personal data and the core data whilst not impacting the user experience. employees are able to use apps like Word and Outlook that they know and love, whilst at the same time, IT is able to protect data contained within the apps and devices. Let's take a closer look at how app-level policies can keep company data and information secure. So, our user receives a work email through her managed Outlook account with an attached Excel spreadsheet containing information she needs for a report. Our user opens the attachment in her Excel mobile application to find the information she needs. She then wants to copy the info to add to her report. But when she tries to paste it into her personal notepad, it doesn't work. The personal notepad is not a managed app. Because we have applied policies that restrict copy and paste and cut functions to only apps that are part of the managed app ecosystem for our Intune enrolled devices. So our user opens her Microsoft Word mobile app, which is managed by Intune. She is successfully able to paste her information. Now, our user wants to save the working copy of her report to a personal OneDrive account so that she can access it from her home computer. Because her personal OneDrive account is not one of the managed applications, she's unable to save it here because we've applied policies restricting the ability to save to only apps that are part of the managed app ecosystem. So our user must save her working copy to a managed OneDrive for Business account, which means when she does want to work on this report from another device, this device will have to be enrolled for management. By using mobile application management capabilities of Intune, you can help prevent leakage of important company data and make sure that this information doesn't get into the wrong hands. You can also easily manage and secure Windows devices through MDM policies, get automatic updates, enforce defense. Traditionally, getting a new PC ready involves a lot of heavy lifting, and for example, spending time building and customizing images that will later be deployed to devices. Windows Autopilot introduces a new approach that cuts time in deploying new devices to users, wherever they may work, so you can be up and running quickly. From the user's perspective, it only takes a few simple operations to make their device ready to use, and the only interaction required from the end user is to connect to a network and verify their credentials. Everything beyond that is automated and reduces the effort or resources needed from IT. Leveraging cloud-based services, it can reduce the overall costs for deploying, managing, and retiring devices by enabling you to automatically join devices to Azure Active Directory or even Active Directory via hybrid Azure Active Directory join. You can also enroll devices into MDM services such as Microsoft Intune, create and auto-assign devices to configuration groups based on the device's profile, and customize the out-of-box experience content specific to that organization. And to recap, Microsoft 365 Business Premium brings together multi-layered security that is integrated with your productivity and collaboration tools so you can run your business from anywhere with peace of mind. There's protection across identity, device, application, as well as data. And starting with the user, we talk about protecting identity and access. For example, against lost or stolen passwords with multi-factor authentication, as well as controlling who can access your business data with conditional access. The protection continues to the devices that access your data, whether company or employee owned, using Intune policies, including ability to remotely wipe lost and stolen devices, protect work data on personal employee-owned phones and tablets. The apps that are used to access work data can also be managed using the Intune app protection policies to block work documents being saved in personal apps like a personal share. Additionally, advanced threat protection capabilities help defend against phishing and other cyber threats by checking links and attachments in real time in Teams, Outlook, and OneDrive. With DLP and AIP, you can automatically classify and protect sensitive information and restrict forwarding or copying of sensitive emails or documents. So, we talked a lot about the technology benefits of Microsoft 365 Business Premium, let's talk a bit about the case for the businesses for using this and how it can help reduce cost and complexity.
So your question may be, why choose Microsoft 365 Business Premium? Microsoft 365 Business Premium can bring together the key capabilities that you need to enable working from anywhere. So collaboration using Microsoft Teams, securing your identity, data and devices, and provide remote access and virtual desktops. And as a customer, it eliminates the need for multiple point solutions, and it also helps the operational costs. An integrated offering low support help desk and maintenance costs while simplifying licenses. So you can focus on driving your business with your customers. So although this slide is in dollars, the example of Microsoft 365, I think it really highlights here what you can do by consolidating some of the point solutions across productivity and security. And if you add the column up from the third-party vendors, you're looking at around £30 per month, as opposed to Microsoft 365 Business Premium, which is £15.10 a month. And additionally, these solutions would not be integrated, so they would need to be a bit of a challenge with SMBs to deploy and obviously to get that full value as well. Microsoft is a scaled security provider, securing SMB customers with unique insight informed by trillions of signals. Microsoft invests $1 billion annually in security, and this is more than all other security players put together. And because of the large presence across the globe, Microsoft is the standard for enterprise-grade productivity, and it has the responsibility as the world of the cybersecurity expands to build the best security solution. The centerpiece of Microsoft's investment in intelligence is Microsoft Intelligence Security Graph, which is what you would normally see, and the way that it synthesizes the large amounts of data in a huge variety of sources, with 470 billion emails being analyzed by Outlook.com and Office 365 email servers every month. 1.2 million devices are scanned every month by Windows Defender, giving Microsoft great insight into what's happening on endpoint and where the attacks are happening and what they look like. And Microsoft operates 200 plus global cloud consumer and commercial services, everything from Outlook.com to Xbox Live to Office 365 to Azure and so on. And with all those services, we have a tremendous amount of surface area to defend. And enterprise security from Microsoft is employed by 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. So Microsoft sees attacks more than other companies on any given day, and it's able to gather information from defending against those attacks. More than 1 billion plus Azure users accounts give Microsoft tremendous insight into how people authenticate to Azure, and that combined with 630 billion monthly authentications with Azure Active Directory and Microsoft accounts provide invaluable insight into what normal behavior and when it comes to sign-ins and authentications, and what is abnormal behavior and how often is it that someone has the right password but they're not the right person, and they say they are. Microsoft learned a lot about defending and its really important control point on the identity by looking across the entire set of data, scanning 18 billion web pages every month, giving great insight into what people are doing with web scripting technologies, and when it comes to tax and phishing campaigns. Microsoft has a unique way to look at that information and understand how to help customers defend based on the information. And on top of all of those layers of shared threat data from partners, from the researchers at Microsoft who are part of a 3,500 plus person team that focus on security at any security full time. And as well as law enforcement agencies that Microsoft partner with worldwide through their digital crime unit, and the botnet data is collated through digital crime units. And all the intelligence makes up an intelligence security graph. So you would normally see this inner graph, as I said earlier, but the graph is also important, that the connections between all these pieces of intelligence, so that these signals are not just individually pointed of information. The graph actually brings together so that you can draw patterns across them, and they learn from points of data to influence how they interpret another point within data. So what we can see here is that the Microsoft is an industry recognized leader in security. Gartner recently released the Magic Quadrant for EP and EM and access management. And also Microsoft is a leader in all 5, with top billing on ability to execute. And it is a testament to the strength and innovation in this space. As we said on the previous slide, Microsoft invests more money as a security vendor than all the vendors put together. And this shows exactly how this output has been taken. And there is more. We have a number of third-party benchmarking tests and organisations to attest the quality. And one of the core needs of any small business is a good antivirus solution. And the good news is that the Microsoft Defender AV is now ranked as top AV by tests such as A/B Test, AV Comparative, and SE Labs. And here we have a customer example, I suppose, in that sense, in terms of case study. So this was on about a customer in India, Howden, and they looked at the migration in terms of having sleepless nights with regards to worrying about the vulnerabilities of their outdated systems. And essentially, they migrated to Microsoft 365, and it addresses multiple changes and some things which are missed. And as you can see if you read this case study, which you probably are now whilst I'm talking, you can see in terms of the satisfaction that they had once this was deployed.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you are making PSTN calls within Teams or are familiar with it? If yes, please explain the technology behind Teams calling. Now, how many of you are leveraging PBX for PSTN calling? If you can, please name some of PBX features such as call transfer, call hold, etc. that you're using today. In this section, we'll talk about Business Voice and discuss how you can leverage the Teams platform as a phone system and much more. Business Voice is a cloud-based phone system in Microsoft Teams. The combination of Business Voice and Microsoft Teams delivering the most productive all-in-one communication solution that brings together your chat, collaboration, phone system, and meetings into a single app. Utilizing all-in-one communication, allowing us to bring together calling, chat, and meetings in an all-in-one app. You can quickly start a call from Teams, Outlook, or your mobile device. You can collaborate in the Office apps within calls and meetings. And with calling from anywhere on any device, use that one phone number across your computer, mobile, and desk phone, allowing you to turn a call into a group meeting without hanging up or redialing, and giving you the flexibility to meetings to add in dialing, calling, conferencing numbers. Secure, reliable, and rich calling, cloud calling features like consultative transfer, music on hold, cloud voicemail, and more. It uses built-in auto attendance and call queues, or connect your own contact center software if you like. You can improve uptime with built-in redundancy and load balancing. And finally, with streamlined management, you can easily add phone numbers with the familiar Teams admin center. You can monitor and resolve performance issues with call analytics and a quality dashboard. And you can get a dial tone your way with a calling plan from Microsoft or a third-party provider. Well, first, a PBX is a company's phone system, and it's mostly implemented using hardware on-prem. Cloud PBX, when combined with PSTN calling, is your phone system in the cloud, modern and tightly integrated with Office 365. Users get the voice capabilities they need to make, receive, and manage calls at work, at home, and even on the road by using phones, PCs, and mobile. And for this true enterprise voice solution, PSTN calling is required. In the past, PBX was typically on-prem, requiring significant hardware investments. And Cloud PBX now provides great controls for IT to increase agility and consolidate management compared to traditional phone hardware. Now, the value in this solution, you can simply simplify management of voice systems and improve agility. You can reduce reliance on costly PBX systems whilst transitioning to the cloud. You can also enjoy easy and rapid access to the latest innovations. Cloud PBX is a set of Skype for Business capabilities delivered from Office 365 that allows customers to extend or replace their existing on-prem IP PBX system. Cloud PBX provides a common end-user calling features on IP phones, mobile devices, and rich clients, along with a robust set of capabilities for IT professionals to administer the service. IT administrators will see that it is easy to interoperate with existing telephony assets and plan for replacement of PBX systems over time. This will help them respond faster to changing business needs. In the previous couple of slides, we've talked about some of the key features which feature on this slide. Now, this list helps to show what exists beyond those couple of features we've already talked about, both through calling aspects and even admin aspects. We've talked about how Teams is that hub for teamwork, for your collaboration, meetings, calling, even conferencing. With regards to the phone system, the PBX is here for all of the Office 365 and Teams needs. And to access those calling plans, that PSTN is needed. And with all of these components working together, that provides your extended validation.
So now we'll look at the opportunity for partners like yourself. And we talked a lot about technology capabilities, and let's look at the business benefits of Microsoft 365 Business Premium for you as a partner. And most of you are probably selling Office 365 or already Microsoft 365, and you have the opportunity to elevate the baseline security for your customers' security with the work from home. Plus, it helps accelerate the shift to the cloud. And you can monetize with advanced service offerings, and what our most successful partners are doing is utilizing the Microsoft 365 Business Premium as a foundation on top of what they've been built successfully high margins managed service practice. And in fact, many of our partners are now building specialized remote working offerings across security and collaboration based on net profit. And this reduces your cost and the complexity with an integrated solution across the productivity and security. With Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you get benefits and number of capabilities from Windows Virtual Desktop to Azure AD to Intune and Teams in one solution that's designed to work together. So it reduces your license and complexity, as well as the learning curve cost, i.e. support and help desk. With only £5.70 more than business standard, you get all these capabilities that I'm showing you, and something that would easily cost over £30 if you were to use point solutions. And you can build up a robust set of add-ons using Microsoft 365 Business Premium as a foundation. And Forrester recently researched that discovered that the most profitable partners have at least 4 or more managed services across the collaboration, threat protection, identity, and endpoint management. And the good news is Microsoft 365 gives you the great foundations on top which you can build these services. And as an example, many of our partners use Business Premium as a foundation and add Business Voice as an add-on license. And on top of that, you can buy high-value, recurring services from both Teamworks and Meetings, as well as security, device management and access management, earning as much as £57 per user per month on top of that base license of £30. And finally, with integrated admin console with setup guide wizard, It's easy to deploy and get started with you, and you have to deal with over only one billing and licensing. We see many other partners working with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and I wanted to share the stats on momentum partners such as you have created with Microsoft 365 Business Premium. In the last fiscal, Microsoft 365 Business Premium grew by 3 in size. There is now more than 10,000 partners like yourselves selling Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and it's truly a remarkable achievement by you in just a few years. But it's not just about the top line impact. Microsoft 365 Business Premium is also beneficial to partners' bottom line. Cloud in France found that they were able to increase their customer stickiness by 50% with managed services built on Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And this improvement followed by their profitability, which is so critical in times. And in the work from anywhere world that we are in now, we're hearing more and more how about MSPs can quickly help their customers get a better remote working experience with integrated offers from Microsoft 365 Business Premium. So this brings to the end of the module 1. So that was the introduction of Microsoft 365 Business Sales Fundamentals, and we'll be now moving over to Fundamentals Module 2. So in Module 2, we'll be looking at the Partner Transform platform. And you're working with big opportunities, say, with Microsoft 365, and you already position Microsoft 365 as Business Premium, along with your company's managed services, security services, and close to closing it. And your customer has a new requirement for data visualization and Power BI, and sounds like a perfect fit. However, you're not familiar with how Power BI works and need to deliver a demo tomorrow because your main point of contact, an ally, is going on vacation or holiday the day after. And the competitor has already presented an impressive demo, and you're worried that you're not going to respond quickly and confidently. You'll lose an entire day. So what can you do? This is where the Partner Platform, Transform platform really comes into its own.
So just to share with you then the session agenda for Module 2. We're going to just take a look at the overview and business impact, and a couple of tools available to yourselves as Microsoft partners, the Customer Digital Experience, or CDX, the Commercial Consulting Tool, or CCT, and then building out a business case.
So now we'll be looking at the overview and the business impact.
The website highlighted at the top, transform.microsoft.com, really allows you to drive value creation for our customer organizations with Microsoft 365. Having that single destination for customer-ready content and sales tools for partners. It's simple and easy to use, and it focuses on the customer objectives. You have the customer digital experiences, which allow you to tailor a demo experience, create those immersion environments, and also some labs as well. The value calculator uses real customer data to show the ROI for organizations, which can be achieved by adopting Microsoft 365. The costs and benefits are calculated based on values from the Forrester Total Economic Impact, or TEI, studies. And lastly, the Commercial Consulting Tool, or CCT. These modules are designed to assist you in conducting effective discussions with your customers about their priorities, initiatives, and key influences. Just a couple of numbers to share with you from Microsoft. So the accounts which have been touched by the tools, so those who have kind of had touch points with them, on average, have 4.8 times larger qualified pipeline. Again, accounts touched by tools on average report 4.5 times higher bill revenue. And then comparing the average usage for accounts with a qualified pipeline versus those touched by tools, see a 2.1 increase in active usage. There are 3 tools targeted for SMB. The Customer Digital Experiences, or CDX, is the most utilized tool on the Transform platform. You can use it to create demo tenants download step-by-step demo scripts for most Microsoft modern workplace products, and conduct immersive role-play sessions with customers. The Commercial Consulting Tool, or CCT, is a conversation tool to help improve seller maturity and confidence through consultative sales conversations. Customers talk themselves into Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And lastly, the Return on Investment, or Value Calculator, which helps sellers close deals by showing the customers ways to save money with M365 through cost takeout. It also details economic benefits they can achieve, supported by the Forrester Total Economic Impact studies, and seller maturity increases exponentially with proper use of ROI and TEI analysis. And to access these fantastic tools I've just breezed through then, you would use the same account for the Microsoft Partner Center as you would do normally to log into it when you're using transform.microsoft.com. Partners as yourselves are required to have enrolled in the Microsoft Partner Center to have access to the site. And it's only those who have Azure Active Directory only, so MSA live IDs are not valid. For any support, you can screenshot the link and click through on the resources when you get them later. Support for access to the Transform platform is handled via email and typically responds the same or next business day. Each tool is unique and supported independently. And for help or to provide feedback on the Transform tool, click Help on the top navigation whilst in the tool. So to get help from that top navigation, the help and feedback section within each tool, it's important for partners to use feedback and to drive improvements to the tool. For any FAQs within the help section, and also what's new with regards to the release notes which show on the tool start.
There is lots of stuff on Microsoft 365, and you've probably heard many of these technologies on the slide, or you might even be an expert in some. However, if you're asked to give a demo or explain one that you're not familiar with to a new potential customer, and you've got to speak to the business decision maker, would you be confident saying yes? When you start unraveling these products, interesting challenges do spring up. You need to know a bit more than the customer does, and there are so many variable aspects to discuss. How do you decide on which products or pillars to focus on? And because the business decision makers have elevated interest in making technology purchases decisions, partners need a tool to help cater for that conversation designed for BDMs. And we believe the best way to discuss Microsoft 365 is to lead the value conversation, starting with the piquing the customer's interest, and that's what CDX is for. So Microsoft are constantly evolving products and services to stay relative and competitive. And also it's a case of for our customers' interactions, looking at the world through the lens of our customers is always the right thing to do. And storytelling is obviously always the proven way of how people get along. So let's look at these. So if we can construct environments, so with trial tenants, which consist of preloaded to support self-directed learning and the CDX experience. And the experiences, those are immersive customer experiences that help facilitate storytelling. And then we look at the experience format. So customer immersions experiences, role plays where customers and partners adopt personas and participate in stories. Demos, so partners show customers the scenario and tell the story. And interactive guides simulate the product learning experience where the customers and or partners walk through specific product scenarios. So CDX helps drive business objectives. So we always look at the what, the why, the what and the how. So this improves partners' sales and technical maturity. It also drives net new opportunities, but it also increased qualified pipeline revenue and active usage.
The Commercial Consulting tool is intended to accelerate sales performance by increasing seller and customer confidence around modern workplace solutions by simplifying the consulting process. Selling is an art and a science, and we're trying to take some of the science out of the equation so sellers can focus on what you do best. This tool empowers sellers to comprehensively assess complex customer scenarios, help customers discover the benefits of the Microsoft Modern Workplace solutions, and provide customer-friendly recommendations to increase sales and customer success. At Microsoft, constantly evolving their products and services to stay relevant and competitive. And so it is in the case of our customer interactions. Looking at the world through a lens of our customers is always the right thing to do. And storytelling is a proven way to bring people along. So with the two constructive environments, trialing tenants with content preloaded to support self-directed learning and CDX experiences. And in those experiences, engage with immersive customer experience that help facilitate storytelling. And to highlight 3 experience formats. Customer immersion experiences, where you role play where the customer and the partner adopt personas and participate in the story. Demos, with regards to the partner showing the customer the scenario and telling the story. And lastly, interactive guides with a simulated product learning experience where the customer and or the partner walk through specific product scenarios. The tool is intended for the Microsoft Partner Network and sellers in the retail stores to evaluate an SMB customer's current state, where they want to go, how they get there with Microsoft solutions, and how ready they are to begin. It gives these sellers a series of questions across 5 selectable solution areas and deployment readiness to hone in on with modern workplace solutions. So Microsoft or Office 365 package, a Surface device, additional accessories and add-ons, and a pre-flight checklist for deployment. Scenarios we have to cover where a partner on site at a customer's office or over the phone talking to a customer, so it has to work on a laptop, mobile or tablet, or an associate in store on a Surface device with the customer in front of them, looking over their shoulder or turn the screen around and let the customer see the tool. So it had to work on multiple devices and be customer-facing friendly.
Most people know the return on investment, or ROI, is. However, not everyone is familiar with the total economic impact. And if people are not familiar with ROI, I will take a second to explain it. Analysts can play a significant role in customer buying decisions. All Forrester's TEI studies are based on customer research. And for example, a part of Forrester TEI for Microsoft 365 E5 study, Forrester surveyed and interviewed customers to better understand the benefits, the costs, and the risks associated with an investment in Microsoft 365 E5. And Forrester interviewed 4 customers using Microsoft 365 E5 and incorporated information from 41 other customers interviewed from the TEI studies using either Microsoft 365 or some of its underlying solutions. And they included data points from another 200 Microsoft 365 E5 customers surveyed in 2017 and 101 Office 365 E5 customers surveyed in 2018. And Forrester uses in-depth customer interviews to derive deep insight into technology benefits within real-world organizations. And Forrester take all this data and create a financial model to form the composite of organizations of 5,000K users, which reflects in the benefits of the cost. On the composite, the organization is used to form a case study which provides readers the framework to evaluate the potential financial impact of Microsoft 365 on their organization. According to Forrester, 60% of IT decision makers agree their business case is important to their decision making. Forrester TEI studies incorporate a variety of methodologies to determine the costs and the benefits. The IT impact, so total cost of ownership, costs over analysis period, and can include hardware, software and services, along with personnel costs associated with planning, implementation and maintenance. Business Impact ROI identifies and calculates the positive business impact like productivity or revenue gains over a period of analysis. Risk. The benefits and the costs must be filtered through a lens of risk. Not all deployments happen on time or go as planned. TEI tempers initial benefits estimates to compensate for environmental and technical uncertainty. And strategic impact in TEI, flexibility monetizing the value of future options and the infrastructure investment can often create.
The value calculator is one of the modern work ROI tools which helps your seller and your customer understand really the question of why Microsoft 365, displaying the ROI results, cost of takeout, and even allowing you to share or export that document to that end user. Demonstrating the business value of moving to Microsoft 365 is a vital step in the sales process. Based on work and analysis by Forrester as part of the TEI studies for Microsoft 365, Office 365, Windows 10 and Surface, Microsoft has created a powerful ROI tool you can leverage with your customers. There are two ways to approach business case development. One, the value calculator, which is a tool to complete a business case showing the expected ROI from a Microsoft or Office 365 deployment. You can use this online using the web-based standard value calculator or download to your device the Excel version to create a customized business case. In here, you can input the licensing, the deployment, the cost, and benefit information based on your customer's situation, local currency, and pricing. And it provides an editable PowerPoint showing a detailed cost and benefit analysis. The cost takeout opportunity tool embedded within the advanced value calculator to help determine the potential cost savings available to a customer through replacement or avoidance of third-party solutions with Microsoft 365. This provides a list of capabilities delivered by Microsoft 365 products, suggests competitive products that customers could replace or avoid buying, provides estimated cost savings guidance on these competitive products based on pricing gleaned from publicly available sources. And cost savings can either be integrated into overall ROI calculations or left as standalone cost figures. The Microsoft CELA department, which is legal department, have included the approved competitor list of prices that are available via the company website for estimation of vendor costs. This includes competitor products and pricing by capability and allows for analysis across security, compliance, teamwork, and productivity. To access the Microsoft 365 Value Calculator, log on to transform.microsoft.com. Once in, you will need to log in with your Microsoft account. You then click Launch on the calculator as shown. Here is the home page for the Value Calculator. You'll notice the different tabs across the top: Resources, Dashboard, What's New, and Help. In Resources, this hosts all of the Forrester TEI reports. If you'd like to see any of the most up-to-date reports from Forrester, such as M365, E3, E5, E5 Security, Teams, Modern Desktop, or more, please go here to view the TEI reports. The dashboard shows all of your activity across all tools on Transform. It shows the accounts you've done value calculations for. It shows all the various calculations within a given account. So you are able to do multiple variations of calculations under one account. What's New shows news, articles, and updates that are coming to the Value Calculator and on-ramp platform. And the Help section is where you can report a bug or submit feedback or suggestions of things you'd like to see in the Value Calculator. To get started, every seller and employee has access to a dashboard that is connected to the MAL. This not only makes it easier for sellers to access their accounts, but also allows the company to tie revenue into usage of the tool. To get started, all we have to do is click Account, search the MAL, or click Launch on an existing account. Additionally, if you're just wanting to practice or see the ROI of a given SKU without tying it to an account, you can click the checkbox titled, "This calculation is not for a customer." That will allow you all of the functionality of the value calculator without tying the results to an account. This will appear in your dashboard under the name No Account. While on this page, be sure to choose the right geography because the geography will determine the currency the value calculator uses. The value calculator has over 25 major currencies they use, and the exchange rate is always kept up to date. All major currencies, such as the dollar, pound, euro, rupee, yen, krona, and more, for countries that don't have an exchange rate, it defaults to the US dollar. We are now on the input screen. The input screen allows the seller to choose any SKU, combination of SKUs, or a common upsell opportunity if you're trying to sell more licenses to a customer in a renewal period. As you'll see on this page, there are 4 tabs across the top. You're required to complete the Inputs tab, but you're able to click as you'd like to either the Results tab if you'd immediately want to see the results, or click through each tab, completing the fields on the deployment schedule and cost of takeout. The Scope of Analysis option allows you to choose specific lens to focus the calculation. The default is the modern workplace, which has always been the primary use case for the value calculator. Microsoft recently added in new scopes such as E5 Security, E5 Compliance, Teams, Microsoft 365 Business, Microsoft 365 Enterprise, or a security deep dive. All of these different scopes will slightly alter the calculations to make it specific to the given analysis and conversation you'd like to have with the customer. With licensing paths or Microsoft SKUs, you have the ability to choose any Microsoft SKU, inclusive of all SMB SKUs. Also, you can choose any device. You scroll to the bottom for the device list. Licensing paths are the 3 main common licensing paths that we have, such as Microsoft E3, Microsoft E5, and then Office 365 E5 to Microsoft 365 E3 and E5 Security. To add a SKU, of course, if you'd like to add in multiple SKUs like Microsoft 365 E5 plus devices, you're most welcome to do that. One thing coming soon, the ability to change the price by year. For example, if you'd like to change the price for year 1, year 2, and year 3, you're able to change the price for each year. You're doing a stacked deal, and this feature will be released shortly. The Deployment Schedule tab allows you to customize the deployment of each individual Microsoft product within a given SKU. It automatically pre-populates all of the fields determined by the SKU choice and year 1, year 2, and year 3 seats. If you would like to not show the value for a particular product or change the number of seats in any of the years, you're welcome to hit the Clear button, which will zero out all of the years or just adjust each product individually. The cost takeout is often regarded as the most valuable asset of the value calculator. Microsoft recently brought a lot of updates to this, and you also have the ability to search by competitor names, as well as use the drop-down menus for choosing a competitor that is grouped by capability. Cost Takeout tool is able to show the dollar-for-dollar advantage of consolidating third-party products, all within the Microsoft solution. For example, we're able to show the financial benefit of using a product like Office over Google G Suite. Some examples of competitors in the Cost Takeout are Zoom, Slack, AWS, Cisco, CyberReason, CipherCloud, and Okta. And here's how the Cost Takeout works. So you would initially search by a competitor name if you know the customer uses that solution instead of a Microsoft solution. If you don't want to search, feel free to use the capability row to identify which competitors they have and use the drop-downs. And each capability row, compliance management, teamwork, etc., has a set of sub-capabilities within it. This is identical to the advanced Excel version of the value calculator as well. Price will autofill for most competitors. Please note to your customers and to yourself that all of the competitor pricing information comes from publicly available sources, such as their competitor websites, and may not reflect the true price your customer is paying. Simply meant to provide an accurate estimation of the cost of that competitor solution. And once you've inputted all competitors, click Results at the bottom of the page to go to the Results page. Lastly, a seller lands on the Results page. From here, they can see the total ROI of deploying the Microsoft solution, the financial benefit of consolidating all third-party solutions with Microsoft, and access a fully personalized report, which they can then send immediately to their client. The cost takeout comparison, if you were to hover over each of the tiles to view the competitors you've chosen as the cost takeout tab, this is a great visualization of showing the benefit and cost-saving potential of consolidating all third-party solutions with Microsoft. The 3-year total ROI, so looking at this chart in the bottom corner, you can see the total benefits and costs of each year with deploying Microsoft. In year 1, the cost tends to be higher because the calculations take into account deployment costs, training costs, and costs of switching from other solutions to Microsoft. And by year 3, the full value has been realized and tends to be the highest benefit year. And to download the PowerPoint, you can click Export Full Report to see this. The report contains all of the data from the value calculator, the cost takeout, and other information related to SKUs, the marketing messaging, and more. Scrolling down on the results page, you can see a detailed breakdown of each benefit and cost category. All of these numbers total up to the year 1, year 2, and year 3 benefits table from above. You can click into each of these tabs to see the detailed calculation for each category. All of these calculations come directly from Forrester, but are fully customizable for you to edit and change. Microsoft recently added the hard and soft benefits filters at the top. The hard benefits are quantifiable calculations from Forrester, such as reduced cost of security breaches or reduced cost of paying for a Microsoft server cows. And the soft benefits are more teamwork orientated, such as improved decision through data analytics or improved collaboration and information sharing. One point to make here, that we've heard a lot of feedback around, is the salary of the employees in calculations. We want to ensure you that the salaries are changeable, and also the salaries are specific to each of the geographies. For example, we don't take the US salary for an IT decision maker employee and multiply it by the exchange rate to get the French IT salary. We have a database of salaries for many countries, which hopefully make the calculations as accurate as possible. Once progressed to the results tab of the value calculator, you'll be presented with the business case and how it's being built out using the data inputted previously, and also the real-world data harvested by Forrester. This dashboard can be exported to share with your prospective customer or downloaded for your internal use, and will be presented in a PowerPoint format to make easy digestion of the facts and figures presented.
So here we are on Module 3. We will be looking at building a security practice, so understanding the SMB market opportunity for security, and build a profitable managed service practice with security and device management. And as mentioned before, as a partner, you're now dealing with the IT landscape that look very different from what it looked like a few months ago, or even the beginning of the year. Customers are working from home or from multiple locations, and they're using a plethora of devices, some personal, some company-owned. And they probably have a patchwork of remote work solutions that they cobble together, but now as they realise that remote working is here to stay, they have 3 things top of their mind. How can they do remote working better, ensure their employees stay productive and connected? How do they ensure security of their data and devices in distributed work environments? And how can they manage costs in the face of uncertainty? And to make this more challenging, All this happens against the backdrop of increased cyber threats and phishing attacks post-COVID-19, and many whom target small and medium businesses. And they're looking to partners like you to guide them through these times. And in fact, a survey said that 90% of SMB customers say they'll switch an IT partner if they offered a better cyber security. The average cyber attack can cost UK businesses an average of £115. And is this an affordable risk? And I, for one, have received text messages and emails to sign up to track and trace, or even say I'm owed money from working from home with this link, click on, etc. And many people will click on these links without awareness that be in or outside of work. And they could be using their work laptops or phones, or even their personal phones with work email accounts logged in. And you could already be compromised, and now you won't know until it is too late. And that's the reason why we need help from partners. SMB lacks this IT skills to cope with their issues, and so they're more eager than ever to work with partners to focus on security. As you can see from here, 89% of SMB customers see cybersecurity as a top priority for their organizations. 90% of SMBs would consider hiring a new managed service desk provider if they offered the right cybersecurity solutions. And as I said, 62% of SMBs lack the skills in how to deal with these security issues. Security, compliance and identity is growing faster in the IT space than partners are capitalising on in this unique way to retain customers and bring fresh ideas thinking to the table. Advisory and adoption services are the highest attach and the highest margin for most today. And take this chart as an example. Your additional services per user could be earning you around £10 per user per month currently. Advisory and adoption around security and compliance could double your customer spend, and the factor in the secure score could almost triple this. And this is not factoring base licensing costs on per user yet. And this may seem like an excessive or unattainable achievement with some of your customers right now, but hundreds of partners in the UK right now are providing this service and winning business too. And the key to success on this motion is understanding the customer and their needs and the objections before they have the opportunity to tell you. And being proactive with your approach and vision compared to being reactive to their immediate challenge and concerns. And now that remote working is here to stay, businesses are looking for ways to do better. That brings us into Microsoft Teams. The key reason to use Teams rather than a bunch of separate products is that it's in one place to collaborate. And recently we interviewed 30 customers and asked them what they liked best about Teams. And the most common answer surprised us because it wasn't a feature, it was a benefit of having it all in one place. And with Teams, you can get one place to access your apps and video conferencing and chat and co-authoring and documents. One place to access and shared files and history and conversations. Integrated apps experiences that you can customize for your business and workflow. And the integrated solution delivers less switching time between apps and looking for files or more time being productive. And speaking of integrated, Microsoft 365 Business Premium comes with advanced security technology that is used by many of our large enterprise customers. It's powerful but it's also simple for you as your IT partner to deploy and manage, and it includes the key aspects. First, enabling security access is really the first step towards enabling security of remote working. With Microsoft 365, you can protect against lost or stolen passwords by using layers of security, using advanced multi-factor authentication, provide the right people with the right access to work apps using Azure AD with capabilities such as conditional access and single sign-on. Additionally, we recently announced that we're bringing the full capabilities of Azure Active Directory Premium Plan 1 to Microsoft 365. And with this, you get the benefits of powerful features like App Proxy that helps employees remotely access on-premise web apps without the need to open up broad access to companies' networks. And we've seen a number of partners develop remote working solutions with App Proxy. And another key area of growth for partners has been enabling remote desktop access with Virtual Windows Desktop. And with WVD, employees can access any remote app on any device, while you can maintain central management and security of the users and the desktop. And a scenario where deploying WVD might be, say, a medical biller and transcriptionist can use Office apps and the electronic health records app in the secure cloud environment with sensitive patient data remaining in the cloud at all times. Or a warehouse worker can access desktop shipping and inventory apps from their iOS or Android devices. And also businesses, for instance, a business owner and accounting staff can access accounting software from home or mobile devices, and the accounting data remains secure in the central location. And we talk about the third pillar, which is securing data and the protection against cyber threats. Sensitive data comes in many forms, and it can be personal, customers' details or payment information, employment records, medical records, intellectual property, contract details, etc. Protecting this data with Microsoft 365 also includes securing against cyber threats like phishing and ransom in links and attachments with ATP, protecting against data leaks with DLP, controlling access to emails and files using encryption, and gaining visibility into cloud apps employees are using to store, share information. And finally, maintaining security and control when customers are working from home starts with managing the work data that ends up on the mobile devices, such as tablets or mobile phones. And the employees own, and these are access to documents and email frameworks. With Intune app protection policies, you can, for example, specific for work files on personal devices can only be saved to a work share versus a personal share. And with mobile device management, you can quickly set up policies and remote wipe data from lost or stolen devices. And it's also imperative to manage the secure Windows devices the company's own. Partners like you can save a lot of time and money using Autopilot for zero-touch provisioning and reprovisioning of Windows 10 devices. And as an example, Microsoft 365 Business Premium can help consolidate some of the point solutions across productivity and security, saving you more than £15 per user per month. And additionally, these solutions would not be integrated, and they would be a challenge for SMBs to deploy and get full value out of.
Now, let's talk a bit about the benefits for you as partners when you choose Business Premium. So firstly, it's important to target high propensity customers first to gain momentum, focusing on medium-sized SMBs and professional services. Value prop is enterprise level protections that satisfy stringent regulatory requirements, plus ability to converge technology investments with a single solution. Secondly, win the pitch with these customers through associating your pitch with compelling events at the top of mind for the customer. A couple of scenarios you could think of are like a security breach event, end of support for Office 2010, Windows 7 when they were around, device refreshes, and regulatory requirements such as GDPR. And the approach for all of this, you want to kind of lead with that security assessment, possibly either layer Microsoft 365 protections under existing point solutions, or recommend replacing disparate productivity and security solutions with a single integrated solution with email, file storage, and collaboration workspace. Talk about how other SMB customers are transforming the way they work in teams to move faster and support transparency. And lastly, discuss ability to protect customers with no complicated integration work. We talked a lot about the technology capabilities. Let's look at the business benefits of Microsoft 365 Business Premium for you as partners. Most of you are probably already selling Office 365 with Microsoft 365. You have the opportunity to elevate the baseline security for your customers' security as they work from home. Plus, it helps you accelerate that shift to the cloud. You can monetize with advanced service offerings. What our most successful partners are doing is using Microsoft 365 Business Premium as a foundation on top of which they've built successful high-margin managed service practice. In fact, many of our partners are now building specialized remote work offerings across security and collaboration based on non-profit. And also reducing your cost and complexity with the integrated solution across productivity and security. Microsoft pays its silver and gold partners monthly rebates on its CSP licensing as a way to reinvest margin back into your business, and recently updated its incentive offerings to partners at the beginning of October. And Microsoft 365 Business Premium remains a strategic SKU offering 3 times more rebate payments than Business Basic, Business Standard, and Office 365 E3. And as you can see, as per user base, the available margin that can be attainable when selling Business Premium is far greater than many other SKUs. Standard rebates are 4%, but accelerator SKUs are anywhere between 9% and 14% back per receipt from Microsoft. To find out more about Microsoft incentives, speak with your SureStep representative for a detailed walkthrough of your partner center to understand your payments, or get enrolled up or catch up on the recent incentives webinar held last week with our Ingram Content Hub to understand Co-op 2. We see many other partners working with Microsoft 365 Business Premium. I want to share a couple of stats on momentum partners such as you have created on Microsoft 365 Business Premium. But in the last fiscal, Microsoft 365 Business Premium grew to 3 times of its size. There are now more than 10,000 partners like you selling Microsoft 365 Business Premium. That's a truly remarkable achievement by you in just a few years. But it's not just about the top line impact. Microsoft 365 Business Premium is also beneficial to partners' bottom line. bCloud in France found that they were able to increase customer stickiness by 50% with managed services built on the back of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. This improvement followed down to their profitability, which is so critical in times. And in the work from anywhere world, we're hearing more and more how MSPs can quickly help their customers get the best remote experience with an integrated offering like Microsoft 365 Business Premium.
Now we're just going to have a deeper look at device as a service. Microsoft offer a device as a service subscription called Microsoft Managed Desktop, which gives us users access to managed service devices as well as Office 365 and Windows 10 Enterprise. And with the offerings of organizations can support hardware refreshes, device replacements, and more from Microsoft. And with 4 simple steps to build out your solutions, that allows you as the end user to select their device, software, and any accessories along with professional services required, and all being bundled into one easy to manage monthly cost. So you may already heard this already, but Intune is not just a portal to monitor and manage devices across Windows, iOS, Android and Mac, or even apps installed on those devices. You can deploy services settings remotely with Windows Autopilot on it too. And now, if you haven't heard of Windows Autopilot, it is a collection of technologies that allow IT admin to set up and pre-configure a device ready for immediate use without even touching the device, even if it's brand new from the factory or being passed on to another user. So with remote working utilising Autopilot and device management capabilities of Intune, a new managed service is born, or the new retention benefits of keeping your customers sticky to your business is handling device management and deployment with zero touch and reduced postage costs, and the time spent on configuring devices where they can be instantly maintained and managed for maximum usage for zero downtime. And with Ingram is proud to offer Windows Autopilot to partners free of charge when you order the CSP licenses through the cloud marketplace. And if you wish to know more on how to get started, please reach out to us. So the value to the partner, and what are the benefits to the partner? So greater account control and deeper engagement, change customs imaging practice to high value modern desktop deployment and managed service practice, entry point to surface ADR or DMPs into CSP program and additional device revenue for CSP partners, increased Microsoft 365 cross-sell, upsell revenue opportunities, zero-touch configuration for Microsoft to the end user, and points to modern management practice. And partner-led services via the Partner Center enables devices for serial numbers, manage Windows Autopilot apps and policies setting via Intune and Microsoft Store for Business, and manage of Microsoft 365 environments to include device inventory management, provides triage support desktop desk services to customer sites, migrate services from customer imaging to Windows Autopilot, and develop custom strategies from moving to modern management. And now we're going to look at a great tool called Secure Score as a service.
A great way to learn about the security features that you have available to you and your customers is through Microsoft Secure Score. Microsoft did some research where they asked the customers a few years ago, if budget were not an issue, what would your next IT security purchase be? You know what the most popular reason was? It was, I would hire someone to come in and assess how we are doing and recommend the next things we should do to be more secure. Microsoft Secure Score provides visibility into your Office 365 and Windows security positions based on your regular activities and security settings. It assigns you a numeric score and suggests ways to improve. It's almost like a credit score for security. Bit to show security health. It's also a full list of everything possible you could do and what you could do if you were to upgrade your license. Use a Secure Score to help customers understand potential issues and next steps. Partners can build complementary offerings around the service using Microsoft APIs. Build a system that collects all their customer Secure Score details, and with this, monitor whether the customer score is low or if it's changed, or offer it as a value add, or use it as a reason to call your customer.
Partners who have utilised Microsoft tools have seen an increase in a number of areas. Accounts which have been touched by the Microsoft tools on average have 4.8 times larger qualified pipeline and also an average of 4 times higher billed revenue. And comparing the average usage for accounts with qualified pipeline, those which have utilised the tools are available to see 2.1 times higher increase in active usage. To assess customers' need with commercial consulting tools, The tool is intended for Microsoft Partner Network and resellers in retail stores to evaluate an SMB customer's current state, where they want to go and how they can get there with Microsoft solutions and how ready they are to begin. And it gives sellers a series of questions across 5 selectable solution areas and deployment readiness to home in on modern workplace solutions. So a Microsoft/Office 365 package, a Surface device, additional accessories or add-ons, and pre-flight checklists for deployment. In scenarios we've had to cover off where partners on-site at customer's office or over the phone talking to customers. So it has to work on laptop, mobile and tablet, or an associate in store on a device surface with the customer in front of them looking over their shoulder, or they turn the screen around and let the customer see the tool. So it had to work on multiple devices and let it be customer friendly. So we have a securing remote work partner kit, which has lots of different things in there. So it's got some decks, some checklists, some practical guides, some pitch decks, and we also got some things like battle cards. You can find this at aka.microsoft/SMB security kit. And this really goes through everything you need for secure remote working. Again, if you do want to speak to myself or Mike, please reach out and we can send these to you. And the value calculator. The value calculator uses real customers' data to show the ROI to organisations and what can be achieved by adopting our solutions across modern workplace security, service and more. And the costs and benefits are calculated based on values from third-party Forrester TI studies. And the tool provides standardised and customer calculations to help you create a business case specific to your customer. And it will also show you the long-term benefits of moving to Microsoft 365. Well, thank you for your time this morning. We are just going to be reviewing the question, and we will take the questions and answers from here. So let's have a look.
Thank you everyone for attending this morning's Microsoft 365 Sales Fundamentals. It's been quite a session this morning, quite a lot to cover in such a short space of time. Normally these kinds of things would be carried out face to face, but given the current pandemic situation, unfortunately, as you know, it's all had to go digital. So we're now opening up the Q&A session. We had a couple of questions coming through just with regards to what kind of content was on here. So we had one question coming through. If a client is just using the Office 365 suite and no server, is there any requirement to enable single sign-on? Well, did a bit of investigating on this, and there's no real requirement. It's basically down to your preference on what that environment looks like. So if the user is using a domain joined device, then certainly recommend it, because you can access your multiple web apps, your SaaS applications just with that one password without the need to sign in to each one. And without using that single sign-on, users must remember application-specific passwords and sign into each application where needed. So, Nicola, did we see any other questions at all come through? I can see another one. Did you say at the start, can we request the slides afterwards? So absolutely, yes. Following the actual webinar today, we'll gather a recap of any of the questions come through. So if you would like a copy of those slides, if you populate that question into the Q&A, we can follow up and get the slides sent out to whoever would like those as a request. Alternatively, I believe they're available as a resource once the webinar is finished. And everything is kind of collated within there. can't see any other questions coming through. We do have the PM session as well going on this afternoon, also available through the Content Hub at Ingram Micro. If you haven't already registered, please do so, just to capture the other modules that we need to complete. And then from there, if you do have any questions that you kind of didn't think of asking this morning, or after we've closed out this session you'd then thought of for later, you can by all means populate that into the PM session, absolutely, as well. And we'll remain online for a couple more minutes just to allow any questions come through. I understand the content was very heavy, so if you do have any questions, it might take you a little while to populate that, but absolutely, by all means, ask the question. And just a few more there, asking for slides. So yeah, if you do want a copy of the slides, as we mentioned, just pop that into the Q&A, and we'll get those sent over later on for you. Okay, and I can't see any other questions coming through. If you do have any other questions, you can catch us on demand. You can connect with either Nicola or myself through LinkedIn. I think our details are on there as well. And if you do have any questions or want to run through assets such as the Transform Hub, look at your partner incentives from a Microsoft standpoint, or just the value that Ingram can provide you further and forwards, by all means, reach out to ourselves, and yeah, we're more than happy to assist with this right here. So we just had a question come through. I'm having issues accessing the partner portal. Who can help with this? Either myself or Nicola can support with that, not a problem. If you'd like to reach out to ourselves, or we actually, I think we've captured details following the webinar, we can look to reach out and we can support you on accessing your partner portal. Okay, I think we're going to close off this session now. So we'll allow you to grab 8 minutes back from the morning session, hopefully to go and refresh yourselves, get some lunch, grab a drink, and then hopefully we'll see you at 2 o'clock for this afternoon session. Thank you very much, and goodbye from me. And Nicola, are you there to say goodbye?
Yes, thank you for joining today, and I'll see you this afternoon.
Cheers. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Bye.